Hey, come in, sir.
Yeah, come in.
Good afternoon, sir.
Take this. What is your subject in the GRF?
Sociology I am doing.
Sociology.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. So, is there any specific area where you are specialized in the sociology?
So now I am doing. Actually, I have done my post graduation in sociology, sir, through distance mode. Now I am doing PhD.
You are in the PhD.
Yes, sir. I am doing.
So, what is your research?
Empowerment of self-help groups, impact of self-help groups on the empowerment of tribal women in this area in Visakhapatnam district particularly.
You are also selected in the Indian Forest Service.
Yes.
So, you didn't join?
I skipped foundation course, sir.
Ah.
10 days interview. 3 days back only I got the mail invitation.
So, describe about Akela Chaitanya.
Sir, I am from Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, Konaseema district. I have done my graduation in mechanical engineering. Later I have done post-graduation in sociology.
A bit louder.
Done post-graduation in sociology, and after getting fellowship, now started pursuing research on the empowerment of tribal women in Visakhapatnam district, sir. And as far as my qualification, my work experience is concerned, I used to work as a project engineer in Nagarjuna Agrochemicals Limited in East Godavari, and after working for 2.5 years, I resigned from the job, and later again I started working in as ward administrative secretary in Andhra Pradesh, and now I am working since 2020.
Is there anything that you don't like about Chaitanya?
No, sir.
You like everything about him?
Because the moment I realized that I don't like something, I used to change myself.
Okay. So, were there any incidents where you have changed from your previous behavior?
Yes, sir. Earlier I used to be bit angry. I used to have more temperament. Over a period of time, I've cooled down. Now I am not of that kind, sir. Now I used to take everything.
What are the benefits of being tempered?
I don't see any benefits, sir. It is actually an avoidable quality.
See, for everything, for every behavior, there will be some advantages and disadvantages. Otherwise, that emotion will not influence us.
So temperament also gives a person an opportunity to work more furiously towards something, because it pushes the person to do something swiftly, but in due course he may select the wrong way by chance. There is a greater possibility for taking hasty decisions in such a state of mind.
So, have you heard about this SDGs?
Yes.
Can you spell out all the 17?
Yes, sir, I try my best. SDG 1, poverty. Second one, hunger and food security. Third one, about health. Fourth, education. Fifth, gender empowerment. Sixth one, sanitation, drinking water. Seventh one.
Okay. What is Navratnalu schemes?
Navratnalu is a flagship initiative of the current government. It is the present development model opted by the present government to cater to the wider sections of society across different sectors.
What is the percentage of forest cover in Andhra Pradesh?
It is 22.6%.
So why there is a decline during the last few years?
Sir, in recent years, if you compare with India State of Forest Report 2019 and 2021, there is a marginal increase in forest, sir, but it is more in open forest and moderate forest, but not in the dense forest.
So do you have any idea about how to grant a special status to a state?
Now or general purpose?
The general perspective, the principles of granting the special status to a state, which is being demanded in Andhra Pradesh.
Yes. Actually, the criteria is like economic backwardness, infrastructural backwardness, presence of more presence of tribal population, and border states. So these are some of the criteria based on which a special category status is provided to states.
You have been selected to Indian Forest Service, and it is a higher cadre than that of the cadre that you are going to choose now. So, will you be able to continue the cadre which is less than that of the present cadre that you are in?
Yes, sir. IFS is actually much better cadre, but if I get an opportunity to get into a service like deputy collector, I'll get an opportunity to work in different fields, because IFS is more or less strictly confined to a particular department or a particular area. But when it comes to the role of RDO is concerned, if we take the role of RDO, we can get an opportunity to work in different fields like disaster management, revenue, and many things. And there will be a possibility to get conferred IAS in future. So that gives more diverse outlook.
It indicates that you are going to work if you get only RDO. For any other post, you won't be working.
As of now, I want to have more broader things, because if I get RDO, definitely I'll opt for it, because otherwise I'll come.
You will be first only, and you won't be working in any other cadre other than RDO.
But based on the role, I'll make a choice.
Okay, wisdom. Okay, do you think you are confident enough, and also you will be recommended for this post RDO?
I'll give my best, sir, but nobody can say that. But I try my best, and I am hopeful of getting it. Definitely, I get RDO. I cannot say that is after all a number game.
Okay. Next, as you said, before IFS, you have worked in Ward Administration Secretary. Okay. At 2 years, 7 months, you worked there. Means you have a lot of experience in it. GSWS, Municipal Department, Government of India. So, what is the role in it, and what reforms you expected to bring in that?
Conceived of this gram award such volume system to decentralize administration and delivery of services, along with the political decentralization that happened through 73rd and 74th Amendment. So, at the ward level or field level, actually different people, at least 10 members from different sections will come together and work at the field level to directly provide services at the grassroots level, without bothering people or without forcing people to come to the government office and all. So, what administrative secretary position is conceived as the team leader who is expected to coordinate with all other persons, those 10 members, and he used to work like a person who is to take grievances, if at all there is any, and try his best to solve those grievances, and if it is not in his jurisdiction or in his level, and he can bring the issue with the concerned higher authority like a municipal commissioner or concerned section at the municipal level. This is how the major role is this.
See, Madhu, would you please come again to the question that I have asked to you?
Yes.
I remember the question.
Yes,
that
sir.
I have asked.
The role of ward administrative secretary and the reforms.
Yeah. What about the second part that you forgot? That reforms that you need to bring and you expect to bring there.
Reform? No. Sir, actually, small submission, sir. I my position is not I'm not in a position to bring reforms, but sir, I need a clarification.
What expectations do you have with respect to the reforms that you need to bring in that area?
Yes, sir, particularly in recent issues, there are some controversies and allegations about the volunteer performance and issues with secretariat system from few sections. So, in order to avoid such kind of things, so better training and better coordination at the ward level and better usage of data for stipulated purposes without getting leading to any sort of allegations is the prime criteria, sir. And ultimately, the aim of the government is the service at the grassroots level. The first and foremost, adhering to the spirit of the system and motivating others, and along with motivating myself.
Okay. If I see your DAF, it has used complex profile. Since 2007 to 21, you are still in pursuing one course, anything at least, even PhD. So still you are a stage of a student. If you join this RTO or any service, you would like to leave this PhD pursuit, right? Or will you continue to do that?
Sir, actually, now I am pursuing part-time PhD. Along with my work, I am trying myself to give enough time for my PhD research also. But definitely, there will be some time constraint if I get into Group-1 service. But still, I can continue PhD later, or I can simultaneously do the things.
The topic of your PhD is empowerment of tribal women, SHGs. In which area you have chosen? Visakhapatnam only. So, what else that you need to bring with respect to reforms and also the problems that you found in SHGs, especially when it comes to empowerment of tribal women?
Particularly based on my observation at the ground level, most of the SHGs are working very well, sir. Actually, particularly my focus is in and around Araku region, where many women SHGs are doing phenomenal work, but it doesn't mean each and every SHG is doing well. There are differences between few tribal SHGs and non-tribal SHGs, and non-tribal SHGs where government support and some MNC support and NGO support. Using these kind of things, they are progressing very well, and there are few SHGs where members are not that active enough to reap the benefits of SHG. So, providing training and opportunities, funding, technology and mentorship, these are equally important to bring them on par with other better performing SHGs.
I have gone through your DAF. It was really very complex, because see, some extremities can be seen, and you have earlier selected for Group 4, APPSC Group 4, and you were
very recently
2022, and you selected as a revenue department junior assistant. Have you joined the post?
No, sir.
You didn't submit it. You didn't submit it.
But just recently the selection,
Recently,
they
since-
released merit list few days back.
Okay, very few days back. And do you believe fortunes do happen, surprises, miracles do happen at one point of time? Do you believe that?
Yes, sir, definitely.
This is what happened in your case. All the Group 1 results you selected for APPSC Group 1, and recently you also selected for Indian Forest Service, and recently you also selected for the junior assistant. And among all these things, what is the special cause of choosing this APPSC Group 1 services? And you also told that you didn't attend for that induction program also. And what is that motivating factor to choose this one?
First thing is, I am not sure of my state cadre when it comes to IFS, sir. And as far as Group 4 is concerned, there will be comparatively very less opportunities for career progress. So if I get a good posting in Group 1, I can work in this state itself, and career progress is also I can take care of. And if I get a post like deputy collector, I get an opportunity to work in various fields, not just into a particular department. maybe I may get conferred IAS in future also. So based on different factors.
So however you wanted to work for the revenue department as in that position of either collector or deputy collector or in that cadre. That could be probable cause, isn't it?
Yeah, not deputy, not revenue department as such, sir. So I want to work in different areas where I can have better exposure rather than confining myself to a particular department. If I get an opportunity to have better exposure, that will be beneficial to have broader perspective and more satisfaction.
And see, after this, you didn't reported for that induction program also. Imagine and what happens if you didn't reported there?
No, sir. Actually, in FC registration, the foundation course registration, they will give three choices, sir. One is reporting at FC, one is skipping FC and directly joining IGNF, Indira Gandhi National Forest Academy in December. A third one is 1 year extension for those people who want to appear for another attempt.
Okay. You are having that flexibility.
Yes,
so you don't have tension whether I will get selected or not, isn't it? And what are your subjects in IFS? Optional.
Agricultural engineering and forestry.
Agriculture and forestry. What is your graduation subjects?
Mechanical engineering.
There is also huge contrasting, so some kind of contrasting this. Anyway, and what about this Konasima? What do you understand by the word Konasima?
Sir, Konasima అనేది ఒక తెలుగు వర్డ్ నుంచి వచ్చింది సార్. కోనసీమ మీన్స్ కోనసీమ, ద సీమ, ద ఏరియా లొకేటెడ్ ఎట్ ద ద ఎడ్జ్ ఆఫ్ యాక్చువల్లీ అక్కడ మ్యాప్ చూస్తే ట్రయాంగిల్ ఎడ్జ్లో ఉంటుంది సార్ ఆ ప్లేస్. సో అక్కడ గోదావరి డెల్టా వేర్ ద గోదావరి ఫాల్స్ ఇన్ టు ద బే ఆఫ్ బెంగాల్ సీ. సో ఆ లొకేషన్ అనేది 3 sides గోదావరి రివర్ కవర్ చేసి ఒకవైపు ఆల్ స్ట్రీమ్స్ ఫాల్ ఇన్ టు ద బే ఆఫ్ బెంగాల్ సీ, వేర్ ఓన్లీ ఒక సైడ్ మాత్రమే ల్యాండ్ ఉంటుంది. సో కొన పోర్షన్, ద ఎడ్జ్ పోర్షన్ లాగా ఉండటం వల్ల దాన్ని కోనసీమ అనేసి అంటారు.
Okay. What about Sapta Godavari in that region?
Yes, sir. Where actually Godavari splits into 7 different distributaries. There are 7, so that's why it is called Sapta Godavari.
What are those 7 distributaries?
Actually, broadly there are Vasishta and Vainateya, Gautami. These are broad names.
Vasishta, Vainateya, Tulya, Bharadwaja, Kaushika, Ashraya. Anyway. And what is the dispute about changing the name of Konasima into Dr. B.R. Ambedkar?
Sir, actually government during elections promised to rename after reorganization the carved out state as Dr. B.R. Ambedkar Konasima, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar district, not Konasima as such. So in order to fulfill the promise, government reorganized most of the districts, and initially it renamed it as Konasima, and it infuriated few sections, and later some issues happened, and government, in order to pacify both sections of the society, as a reconciliation measure, government renamed it as Dr. B.R. Ambedkar Konasima. On one hand, few sections wanted the Konasima or something related to the geographical area, and also to fulfill the promise Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. So as a reconciliation measure.
And see, you were 31 years, and now at this point you have been studying, and you have been under various types of education in academic level, and now you are aged at 31. Do you think that the aspirants are wasting their potential age of 23 years to 30 years, and do you think they are sacrificing their age for this competitive examination preparation?
Sir, actually there is nothing wrong in preparing for anything, or there is nothing wrong in having aspirations, but if we are really working in the direction of fulfilling our goals, and if we have that sort of perseverance, definitely that is fine. And in the given scenario, it is advisable to work, and also balancing is way better than sitting idle and preparing for the same.
And what about you are studying that, especially your project, your thesis is tribal problems in Visakhapatnam and surrounding regions. Empowerment of okay. Anyway.
Impact of SSGs on the empowerment.
Okay. So what are the common tribal problems? What are the common tribal problems which are very peculiar and specific to this Visakha agency region?
Actually, most of the problems are more or less similar to other areas, but when it comes to that particular region, due to some groundwater pollution and all, in particularly one area called Uddanam area in Srikakulam, Vijayanagaram vicinity area, where few tribal people particularly developing kidney related diseases. Government already started doing research on this, even ICMR is also involved in that, and very recently, 2 days back, government installed a water purification plant particularly to address that issue. So this is one of the peculiar issue.
And what is the reason for that? Because ICMR also did research on that, and the National Center for Biotechnology Information, United States based organization was also conducted research. But in the nearby areas, we don't have any heavy metal pollution. We don't have heavy metal mines also in and surrounding areas. And what could be the probable reason for that?
Sir, to my knowledge, actually in Visakhapatnam bauxite mining is there, in Srikakulam manganese mining is there. They are mineral rich areas. That could be the possibility.
But Srikakulam, little Uddanam, all these regions which are little remote away from this Visakhapatnam and other bauxite mining. And see, probably you may know this fact. Recently, Punjab Agriculture University conducted a research, and they came to a preliminary conclusion that the heavy metals were due to the heavy utilization of the chemical fertilizers. That is not because of the heavy metal pollution due to mining, that is because of the heavy the fertilizer pollution. That is one thing. And in your hobbies, you also mentioned listening to music. So it catches, no? Listening to music is one of the most common thing, and that is specific thing that generally, no? And what kind of music?
Classical music.
Classical music. So what is different between classical music and folk music?
Classical music actually derives its principles and established procedures from Bharata Muni's Natya Shastra and Vedic principles like Gandharva Veda from Samaveda. So folk music has no established principles. It gets carried from generation to generation orally. There are no specific principles or procedures that stipulates folk music.
Who is your famous, your favorite musician?
M. Mangalampalli Balamurali.
Balamurali Krishna. So, coming to the cinema field, coming to this movie field, who is your famous music director, favorite music director?
Music director, I don't have any specific music directors, but I used to listen to songs. I have famous singers I do like, but there are no
Who is your
specific.
favorite singer then?
Actually, SP Balasubramanian. I like more.
Tell one song which you love most.
I have many songs. Actually,
You tell one song.
I used to listen to Annamaya songs. Most of the songs were sung.
Annamaya Sankirtanas. So, however, you were not associated with any music director. That's why that was written by Annamacharya. That's why.
There is no bar, sir, but generally I don't prefer songs based on a music director and all, but I like more classical kind of songs. So.
Why should you be given the post of deputy collector?
Sir, over a period of time through my education and my preparation and though I might have involved in my work experience, I have acquired knowledge in various fields due to my diverse academic knowledge and work experience in different fields. So I project myself as I could be an asset for the state. So I personally feel I will be a right person for the post. So I personally feel.
So the way you entered the interview room is good, and your posture is also good, but there are certain things that you have to change, like you need to maintain eye contact with all the members while answering the question of any one member, because you are addressing the entire board, not individual member. So you have to see all the members. And I have observed that your hands are shivering. You don't have to be because already you are in the service. So you need to maintain that eye contact, and voice also should be a little bit louder, that you have to practice.
Sure.
So sit in front of a mirror and speak about with yourself in the mirror. Speak about a span of 2 minutes on any issue. Something like education system, English medium education in Andhra Pradesh. A few points positively, a few points negatively. Speak for 2 minutes. Then take a 10-minute break. Take another topic. Speak for 2 minutes. And when you are speaking, you have to record all these things.
Sure.
Then observe how the voice modulation is changing. If it is not changing, further make a practice. Repeat. And it is not necessary that you are supposed to answer all the questions. Board is not expecting you to answer all the questions. And you are trying to give answer for every question, even for the areas for which you are not having the clear knowledge. Something like I asked you about SDGs. It is not necessary that you have to list out all the 17. The question is asked only because to test your mental stability. So need not be nervous also while answering the questions. Therefore, your hands are shaky a little bit. And
something because of ACs also.
so suppose when you are not sure about the answer, full length answer, give a list of whatever the things that you know and say that I am not completely sure about it. And they will be testing only whether you are maintaining that mental stability or not. Similarly, when I asked you about what you don't like about Chaitanya, then you have to tell about some weaknesses, negative points in you.
Definitely have negative.
So where you have to prepare, make that list of strengths and weaknesses.
SWOT and all this.
Because there is no human being.
Yes, sir, definitely. Even I.
Having mistakes is a human.
Initially, I could not recollect a particular negative. That's why.
So when I asked about to describe about yourself, it was a great opportunity given to you to widely describe about yourself, your strengths, weaknesses, and your opportunities to overcome those weaknesses.
Sir, describe yourself in the sense, is that like introduction or something about our personality? What exactly we should describe yourself? If I get an answer,
describe about yourself.
Is that like a biodata or introduce yourself kind of question?
It is not completely about biodata. The question I asked was, describe about Akela Chaitanya. Then Akela Chaitanya, what is the personality? Because your biodata is there.
Yes, that.
Your characters, your qualities, in terms of your strengths and weaknesses, and your opportunities to overcome those weaknesses.
Oh, sure.
And when an open-ended question is asked, keep answering multidimensionally,
Sure.
unless you are asked to stop. Give the elaborate answers. And you have excellent theoretical knowledge. Therefore, you are trying to give answers to all the questions. Theoretical knowledge is very good. But you are looking frustrated when some simple questions are asked. And that frustration is clearly visible in your face. Simple questions like the Navaratnalu scheme or special status to Andhra Pradesh. They are simple because they are asked because, again, to test your mental stability. So some GK questions will be asked. Those GK questions, something like, what is the height of Himalayas? What is the longest river in India or largest river in India? Those GK questions will be asked. But they will be testing about how you behave when those questions are asked. Whether could you able to withstand that mental pressure or not will be checked.
Sure.
And sometimes if any member asks you a question in Telugu, and you have to answer that particular question in Telugu only. So don't answer in English if the question is coming in a Telugu language. Because that shows your capacity to shift from one stance to another stance, one type of question to another type of question. And this transformation will be tested in that process. Right? So everything is fine. So when is your date? What is the date of your interview?
7th.
7th.
we have also seen that you are physically discomfort. Are you feeling any discomfort?
You came
So-
very forward actually. You can sit more comfortably. Actually.
Because
at a place I was told that don't sit too, don't touch.
no, comfortably, that even if you are physically discomfort, that should not be visible as if you have been literally sitting like a robot, because it is appearing. So that is what we have to manage, simple. And one more thing, your fingers are shivering and you are one of the better qualified person, you need not worry at all. And your nails are very prominent. If you don't have any problem, you please remove your nail. And your wristwatch is also, it is so attention gathering. So you can change to any kind of leather watches, because that gives you gentleman look, right? And artificialness, the way you are answering also, it is depicting artificialness. So it shows that you are not fully prepared for the interview. And have you taken this is just a mock interview, and are you really feeling this a kind of interview environment?
I think we have to treat it as a original interview, not as a mock interview. So the moment I think
Originally what happening is, and so that's why it got too extreme, and that is the reason why you were shivering and you were open. Anyway, that gives you
overnight I traveled and did so
might
much
be.
of
Might be. You take,
here and there.
you have to.
I was in rush to reach this place from Kukatpalli.
The tiredness that is visible in your face. Anyway, you better take good rest before going to interview, and you also better learn a song. If suddenly if someone asks you to sing a song, and you could not sing the Balamurali Krishna songs, isn't it? So already Balasubramaniam song, you can have one or two in your mind. Apart from that, very impressive application from DAF, and your body language, your way of taking the questions, everything is good, and we hope that you will certainly get the service. Good luck.
And one thing, if questions can be of two types. One is very specific and the other one is very generic and open-ended. Okay. The specific question can be like the role that you have played in a particular profession. That is very specific to you. Okay. And the generic one is what is the expected outcome, that is the reform that you need to bring. What is this is very generic in nature. So the specific questions can be answered by you confidently, as natural as have you had your dinner or lunch, something. If I ask you what is it, we can answer comfortably because that is exclusively specific to you, right? If I ask about how it was, what are the types of cooking like this is very generic question. So try to segregate the question when it is asked, and also please maintain the mental alertness while a question is posed to you, because only one part of the question is answered by you and the second part is neglected. You forgot actually. So I reminded you. Second and third expertise, you need to concise sometimes. Yes. You need to concise. You are elaborating more for one simple concept. So what is the role? Simply explain it step by step. Role 1, 2, 3, right? And it should be concise. Like you have explained regarding the specific question which I have asked about your PhD, self-help groups, empowerment training like this. You have mentioned government, MNC, NGOs, training, funding, technology, something. You have listed out all the things because you are into it, right? So specific questions can be answered naturally, but you don't jump into direct answering of these questions which are very generic and generalized and open-ended. And please try to submit yourself that you may have limited knowledge about few questions which are GK related. Like, sir directly asked you about 17 SDGs. It is impossible for you at that moment to list out all the SDGs in a faster pace. It will take more time. So you may be you need to submit initially that, sir, as far as my knowledge is concerned, or with my limited knowledge, I can list out only few SDGs. If you submit initially, it looks good. Therefore, you can answer. You can take that liberty with the kind permission from the board. So this is, as sir has mentioned about your non-verbal communication part. Apart from verbal communication, in verbal communication, your voice should be louder, and at the same time, non-verbal communication, you please sit in a straight mode, and at the same time, you should be very comfortable and confident. That looks that you should be comfortable.